Hi everybody, welcome back to the, what's it called? The
Get to
Chat
know you.
Inbetween podcast. Yay! I couldn't even remember what it was called and I invented it. So welcome and thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And today we've got another member of my church that we're going to get to know a little bit better. And we have got, as you can see on the screen, Chloe. Yay!
Hiya.
Hi Chloe, you all right?
Very well, thank you. And are you?
I'm all right. Yeah. How you diddling? How you doing? How you coping? Everything going okay in your world?
Yeah, we're coping. Getting a bit fed up now, as I'm pretty sure everyone else is.
Yeah.
So, we're back to work. Alex at nursery. So hopefully things will start.
So for people who don't know you, Chloe, who might be listening, you've got a nearly 2-year-old boy called Alec.
I do, who is finally starting nursery because he has been struggling with just being at home, not really seeing anyone. Like we used to come to church, and now, because of COVID, we can't.
Yeah.
So we thought getting him into nursery would be really good, seeing like loads of other kids. I've gone back to work, which is
Very,
nice.
very good.
And we are expecting a second little one in the middle of July.
Amazing. So congratulations from everybody at the church.
Thank
That's
you.
exciting. And hopefully by then it won't be a COVID lockdown 3 baby. It'll be a bit more open and you'll be able to
Yeah,
have a
that'd
bit
be nice.
normal start to a baby's life.
That would be good because it's been really difficult as like a mother, as a first time mum.
Yeah.
It's been really difficult, like not knowing what's normal, what's not, because everything's not been normal.
Sure.
So it'd be nice to be able to like see people and to like have that support in with the summer as well. It'd be nice to be able to go out.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time it's that informal stuff that we probably didn't recognize or appreciate was there before COVID. You know, those mum conversations at the beginning of church.
The stuff you like take for granted, like the tea and coffee after church.
Yeah.
It's just it was a normal day-to-day thing that we did, week in, week out. Whereas now it makes you realize just how precious those moments are. And as cheesy and as like cliche as it sounds, it's like those are the moments that really matter.
Yeah, and as like a young mum or a young dad, you've obviously got the wisdom in the community with all the other parents in there and people who maybe even work with children or you've got all that
Yeah,
wisdom in
definitely.
the room, haven't you, that you can just
Yeah.
into in a sort of like really relaxed way, an informal way. But because of COVID, I suppose a lot of that was just taken away.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's been nice because like we have had people like down the phone.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's nice to have that face-to-face interaction. But also with Alec as well, it'd be really nice to him to see people.
So what do you think was the biggest impact on Alec?
Say that again?
What do you think was the biggest impact on Alec's life?
Just not seeing anyone.
Yeah.
I think he struggles socially. He doesn't have much social interaction.
Yeah.
He's a very like clingy baby. And I think lockdown hasn't helped that at all. He's not had that chance to step away from mummy, and I've got other people in my life, and and to just grow developmentally wise. So he was delayed at walking. He's not talking. Because he's not seeing any other people his age or even just other people in general. So there's none of that encouragement. Okay, we can encourage him, but when you've got someone else watching him or doing it, they may like approach it slightly different. And Alec could be, oh, that's really good. And or with the young kids at church, I think he would have really benefited being around watching them grow up.
Sure.
So I think he's really struggled with just being stuck at home.
Yeah.
It's hindered a lot, and hopefully, like now that we are coming to the like tail end of things, hopefully we can play cat, like we can get back to the point where he should be.
Nursery soon, so that's going to be good. I think you're right. I think again, COVID just sort of exposes things that we all took for granted. Like for me, with my children, church community life was so important to us because you could just go and you just hand the baby there and then hand the, and then the little running around the church, Daisy and Gabe and Bethany, this complete freedom in this safe space Just
yeah, definitely. Like, no, 100% agree. And it gives you like that like half an hour to yourself where you don't have to be that parent. You can be Matthew, you can be Chloe. Just for that half an hour, you can just be you, and you don't have to worry about where they are, what they're doing, because you know they're like surrounded by people who like love them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree totally. I mean, I've always said that about my two older ones and Bethany, is the benefits they get from being at a healthy, good community space. And that doesn't necessarily have to be a faith space, but just involving family with a bigger group of people with shared common needs. And it has to be a safe space as well, and a healthy environment. But the benefits that they get from that is unbelievable. I mean, there's, from hanging out with what other 1-year-olds to having to learn how to socialize with a 90-year-old in a church setting. Like, there's not many places in this world that have that diversity now of age groups.
No, definitely.
Where, like, and I see it in Daisy and I see it in Gabriel, this ability to be very social with other people, especially older people.
Yeah, and they know how to interact with people of different ages, different, abilities, different attributes, all those kind of stuff.
Definitely.
And I think like we do take for granted that. We take for granted the fact that we thrive and develop on other people.
Yeah.
And I think like I think everyone's really realized that, you need social interaction. You need to be surrounded by other people.
Yeah.
To like enhance that growth and development and learning, because otherwise you become quite stunted. If you're surrounded by the same people, you're just stuck because you can't grow or you can't expand or you can't, experience different things because you only know one thing.
Yeah. I mean, how old were you when you first came into the church?
9. Gosh.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
I mean, what, you 20?
24.
24 now.
24.
So as a 9-year-old, because obviously your family didn't come to church, it was just you and your sister. You know, have you seen that in yourself, being part of the community and being part of, that structure that has helped you develop as a person?
Oh, massively. Like, we weren't really surrounded by people our own age growing up, so it was quite nice to meet other people of different ages, of different backgrounds, of different interests. I find like I can easily have a conversation at the age of 13 with someone in their 70s, someone in their 50s, and a child. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was able to adapt and know how to act and behave depending on who company I'm with. So if I was around someone my own age, I wouldn't have to be I could be like, a kid. Whereas when you're around someone of the older generation, to be polite, to act a certain way. Like, you can still be yourself. Like, I'm not saying you can't, but it's about just adapting, like being appropriate, acting appropriately, depending on the situation you're in.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree, and I don't think.
And I think you don't really get.
Yeah, I don't think, with people not gathering in churches or not gathering in faith spaces, they're actually quite unique spaces now.
Yeah.
Where else do people find that sort of diversity around a common goal? I think there's a lot of community cohesion that came from villages and towns living like that. Alongside going to the pub, alongside going to the football, alongside doing all those other things. But at the heart of it, there was this little community space where people lived together and worshipped together and thought together and grew together. And I personally don't see any other space like that at the moment. And I think it's really good for society to have these spaces.
Yeah, and I also think it brings a level of, like you said about diversity, and it's about that level of acceptance for people with, different views, different feelings, different way people like just live in a general. And I just think, especially in society nowadays, where there is so much diversity out there, you know, there's so many different types of people and ways of living and, you know, acting. And I just think like that there's no acceptance. People are so quick to like want to be like so and so, and they have to fit in. But yet, when you're in a group of people with common ground, despite the fact no matter who you are, your background or age, there's acceptance across the board. You know, you got respect from the eldest person to the youngest person. And I just think that is so crucial.
Yeah, I think it is. It's very healthy.
Like, that would just, do you know what I mean? Like, you don't see that much anywhere.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's very unique. And it's really
Like, I was very blessed. Like, I think coming from a 9-year-old and being around different types of people, especially like when I was a kid, like the world's a completely different place back then to now. And you know, social media wasn't really a big thing when I was a child. And then when I hit teenagers, it was like, that's when social media came about, like properly, and, you know, all those kind of stuff. And I think like, I'm very blessed in the sense that I had that opportunity to be around other people. And to have that diversity of like other people. Like, I was able to find who I am and like the way that I wanted to lead my life by looking how everyone else led theirs and finding like, you know, different ways of living. So there wasn't that like shunted,
reinforced through teaching and, you know, the way, the truth, the life, and, you know, the challenge of living a faith life in
and that's the thing. Like, you could see like people with leading Christ-like lives, and you could see that heart, like God was at the heart of it. It was the center of it, but yet the way people did it was differently. You know, people showed the love of Christ so differently, but yet the value was the same. And it was still heartfelt, it was still pure. And it was just like, it was just amazing. Like, it was amazing as a you know, as a 9-year-old whose life was just full of chaos. And to come in this space where you've got a range of like 70 people who are all different, but yet you've got that common ground of Christ. And it's just, it grounds you, you know, it really gives you that calming security feeling of just grounding you and just going, I can lead my life however I want, but keeping that focus keeps you focused.
I think it's great. Like,
I think it's so crucial. I think it's
not just for a 9-year-old coming out of chaos, it's for a 50-year-old like me. You know,
and that's the thing, isn't it? It's like we've got the same thing in common. But you're coming at it from a completely different angle to I am, but yet we're getting the exact same thing out of it.
Exactly.
And I just think it's so powerful. Like, it's so underrated. It really is.
I think, I don't know if I've said it on another podcast, but I think for me, one of the sad things is around church and around Christian faith is often when people are going through troubled times and difficult times, that church isn't on their list of well-being.
No.
They get well. For lots of reasons. One, we live in a culture that's post-Christian. Two, you know, we are our own worst enemy with how we've behaved, the guilt, the unforgivingness, all that stuff. It's so sad that people will go down the street and pay £30 for a Reiki healing session, go to a tarot carder, or they'll go here to try and get well and to try and find a path forward. And yet it feels to me that few people think, you know what, I think I'll just go to church and see what that's like. And I think that's a real shame.
It is. And I think like, even you don't even have to come it from a faith side of stuff, just that community.
Just come.
You know, just that welcoming of just not being alone. Because that was for me. Like, I came to church at 9. I didn't really start following Christ until I was 13. But for those first 3-4 years, it was seeing the love and compassion and the beauty inside everyone at church that really changed me. It was seeing them live a Christ-like life.
I love that.
That changed me.
I think in the past it was that phrase, believe and belong. You know, find Jesus, be saved, and then you belong. Actually, for me,
I think it's the other way around.
Well, it should be both. I think it should be bookended by belonging. It's like belong, believe, belong. You know, you come,
right, yeah.
Yeah, you come, settle, be, watch, learn, make a choice, believe, and then you belong in a slightly different way.
Different way, yeah. So you belong as part of this community, but now you belong a part of this family, a part of Christ's family.
Yeah, something like that.
You know, that's really lovely, actually. I quite like that.
And I think sometimes we've had too high expectations of people coming in. Be more like to be like what we want them to be before they belong. You can't actually belong until you've made that shift into faith. You know, we're asking too much of people.
And that's the thing. And I think also like people like, you know, when people come to church you've never been before or might have been as a kid, like they've got that image in their head that it's going to be a certain way. And it's like, well, actually, we need to just show them that that's not the case.
Just be.
Like, we just want you here. Just be here. Just be with us. Like, you know, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be anyone. We just want, you know, we just want you here.
Yeah.
Just be with us.
And let your questions bubble up instead of us imposing.
Telling you what you should not feel.
You should be asking. Yeah. It's really
like, let it come naturally. Like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, that was really good. Thanks, Flo. And we're going to start with our questions now. Our 10 questions, 10 answers with a bit of chat in between. So, to get to know Chloe a little bit more, have you got any phobias?
Oh, yes. Only the one. But,
okay.
My biggest one is I'm claustrophobic.
Oh, right. Okay. We've not had that one yet.
Massively claustrophobic. So I hate lifts.
Oh, do you?
Oh, I can't. The only time I've ever go in a lift is if I'm in a hospital bed and I'm being wheeled by like 7 doctors, because for some reason in my head, I think if there's doctors and nurses, it's not going to break down. Why would God want to like break this lift down? Because these people are, do you know what I mean? Like, that's how crazy it is in my head. I can't use public toilets.
Oh,
you know, like in parks and stuff. Like, I'm not too bad in supermarkets because they're like
closed door on the.
Yeah. Oh gosh, no. Whew. Like my heart starts pounding. I get sweaty. I start crying. I really don't like enclosed spaces, feeling trapped. Like, you know, what was it like on a plane on the way to Turkey?
It was tense.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, if it weren't for Gabe,
but you did it. Oh, you did it.
Honestly, you weren't for your kids. Like, they were amazing. They were like, Chloe, just come play a game with us. And I was like, okay, then we've been playing for 4 hours, you know. But no, like, yeah.
Funny that, because it's so amazing to me because I've not got that problem. Like, even just getting on a plane can be so tense then.
It's terrifying because there's levels a bit. So for me, I have gone in lifts.
Yeah.
I would happily walk 20 flights of stairs than go in a lift.
Yeah, yeah.
If I had that choice, I avoid places when I've got Alec in the buggy.
Oh, really?
So that I don't have to go in the lift. You know, it's that bad. Like, I have to plan routes. And like, so Alec has hospital appointments a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And I make sure that we get a lift there and back, so I don't have to take the buggy, so I don't have to get a lift. And if it's on like level 7,
like, we've had phobias and people have been like, oh, I don't like spiders, but I can live with them. I don't like this and I don't like that. And oh no.
No, mine really does like change my life.
It's a deep one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I don't like spiders and I don't like creepy crawlies and I don't like, you know, little things. But no, it's a real, and actually I didn't realise how bad it was until I actually sat down and thought about this question.
Really?
And I realised that I was like, oh my goodness, it's bad.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, it's actually like my life. I have to change certain things in my life because of this phobia. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I should probably go get some help for it. Like,
isn't it?
Because it's, you know, I'm going to have a little baby and I'm going to have a toddler.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to use a lift at some point in my life. I can't avoid the galleries. Because I literally, no, honestly, I go to like, you know, the ground floor. Oh, yeah. I will then come out of the galleries and walk up Union Street to then go through at the top. if I need some at the top.
What, and go through the bookstore?
Yeah, like Waterstones.
Yeah, to get to the second floor.
And then if I need to, I would go all the way to the top opposite Castle Park to get onto the first. That's how bad it is.
Oh no, that is amazing.
Like, that's how terrifying it is, and it's terrifying because
is it rooted in anything?
And I try to like overcome it. So I do go in front of a lift, and I press a button, and I can't. My legs start wobbling, my heart starts pounding. I have to not lock public toilets, and I'm more terrified of being locked in than I am of someone coming in watching me pee.
Phenomenal.
That's how terrifying it is, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it's actually a life-limiting thing almost, isn't it?
It is. It is like
limiting, not a life limiting, a lifestyle limiting.
Yeah, so I do have to like adapt.
Yeah.
You know, things people take for granted just walking into a shop. You know, like Debenhams. If I want to go to Debenhams, I have to make sure I don't have Alec with me. So I don't have to go. Do you know what I mean? It's stuff like that that's insane, and like
that's amazing.
So that's pretty much my only main phobia. I mean, I've got one like.
Is it rooted in anything?
Well, they do say people who have had like traumatic childhoods or have been abused can get claustrophobia because it gives you that sense of feeling trapped.
Yeah. Out of control.
So it's that control thing. So it's not so much being like. It's about not being able to escape. So it's about fear. Which is essentially what all phobias are. But so as a child, when you are or as an adult, you know, and you're in an abusive relationship or you're going through something so traumatic, and you can't break free from that, it's a rather suffocating thing. So that's where it stems from. So because obviously throughout my entire childhood, so it's not like an event has happened and it took me a while to get over it. It's my entire childhood is just full of not very nice stuff. It's very suffocating, very traumatic.
Yeah, and as a child, you're stuck in it. You've got no options.
And because it went on for years and years and years, it's obviously stemmed so much that I now just that feeling of feeling trapped can just send me haywire.
Yeah, see.
So that's why it's a little bit difficult to deal with like claustrophobia, because you have to like go through everything that's could have triggered it. Sure. So it's not like a fear of spider where you can just stick a spider on your hand. Or your one with the jewelry, and you can stick it in your hand and eventually you'll be okay with it. It's so psychological.
So interesting.
So it's more of a psychological.
Yeah, it's like scar tissue, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. So and it comes with a lot of psychological problems. Then, like
child, you're being molded and shaped by those circumstances. You're just living it. You're just in it.
Yeah.
So it's very subtle, isn't it? And very deep in your whole fabric.
And that's the thing. Like people don't realize, like it's not surface. It's not a surface phobia. It's not something that you can just do a couple of therapy sessions and get over it. You really need to basically, get right down to the scar tissues, rip that all out, and just regrow.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult one, and honestly, it's not till I've done the
go round the block and go through. It's easier to go to that way round than go through.
And it is to go to therapy and having to look at.
It's easier just to plan your route.
Pretty much. It's less traumatic that way.
Yeah, I think, but sure. Nice. I'd never thought of it like that. That's really good. I mean, it's not good, but you know what I'm trying to say.
But like it's a bit like anything, really. Once you realise where it stems from, you then like.
Yeah.
It's starting small. So again, I can go in a lift if it's with a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it's just making those little baby steps.
Yeah, again, say, like you're saying, on the hospital bed with the 6 doctors round, they are, I suppose, figures of authority, of well-being, of safety, of health.
And I think it's safety the biggest thing. I think.
So then they are in control of you in a positive way.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And it's the same with when we go to the children's hospital, and I've only got to go to one floor, and there's another mum or dad with a child in a buggy. That's safety.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't go with a couple. It has to be with a parent that has a child who. Do you know what I mean? It's really weird. It's very there's a lot of thought goes behind it.
Subtle, not subtle.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Very good. Oh yeah, wow. No, that's a very interesting take on it. I've never heard of that before. Yeah, and it's so true. It rings so true. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, after that bombshell.
Yeah, let's get to the lighter stuff.
That's the funny thing about this. I did one a couple of weeks ago with Colin, and we got into a deep conversation, and then you sort of like, la la la. Oh, so what's your spirit animal?
It's literally like, yeah.
Yeah, but it's good. So there you go. There's the next question. Native American, Indian spirituality. I think it's that, probably the Incas. I've not really done any deep
Incas
research into this spirituality, but some spirituality is that you've got a spirit animal that defines you.
Yeah, this was difficult actually, because there's not really something that I think about.
Yeah, no. Don't blame you, but
if I had to choose one, it'd be an elephant.
Okay, that's a good one.
Because elephants are they're all known around the world it's a good luck charm. So I love elephants.
Yeah.
It's always been my go-to. But also they represent experience and wisdom and success.
Yeah.
And those kind of stuff. And those are stuff that I want in my life. So I have a lot of experience. I have a lot of wisdom in certain areas of my life, and I just want to be successful. I don't want to be I don't want to be rich. I don't want to be famous. No. I just want to be able to grow old and go, do you know what? I lived my life to the fullest that I could. Yeah. I'm a successful mum. I feel like I've done, whatever career path I may choose.
Yeah.
I just want to be successful. I just want to be okay. I want to just be able to say, do you know what? I did all right. I feel like, things have been all right. And I think, for an elephant, they do all right.
Yeah. No, there's something very sort of they're just there in the world.
They're just positive, aren't they? No one really thinks about elephants in a negative way unless you want to be in the ivory trade. But, but when you think about lions and tigers and bears and wolves and those classic spirit animals, they can have very negative thoughts and feelings. Whereas when you think of an elephant, they're just nice. They're just there. They're big. They're strong. They're powerful.
Yeah.
But yet they just have that positive gentleness about them.
Yeah, I think
I like that.
Elephant, they seem very, again, community, very.
Yeah, they travel in herds. You don't see them on their own.
No, and then when you see the little baby elephants, they're so cute.
Oh, I know, they're so cute. Oh,
but then the mother elephant, there seems something very familial, very
and I think that's why I connect to them, because you always see a parent and the mummy and the baby elephant.
Yeah.
And they hold tails, and then they're just not the type that goes, right, you've been born now, go away. They're let's mother you, follow in my footsteps. They trail behind them, and they're watch me as I show you how to do this.
Yeah, there's a legacy there.
And I just think that's so powerful. I'm literally getting goosebumps just thinking about it. I think it's just so powerful.
Yeah.
And I think, if I was to come back as an animal, I would come back as an elephant.
Okay. And the other good thing about an elephant is that
they never forget.
No, they can't fit in lifts.
They can't what?
Fit in lifts.
This is very true. They can't jump or climb trees, so they're very grounded. Maybe that's my psychological.
Around Broadmead and up into.
They're very solid.
Yeah, no, they are definitely. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. I love that one, Chloe. Yeah. No, there is something very beautiful about them, elegant. And for me, I love that idea of the community and the family element of elephant.
Yeah.
They do seem like a really sort of compact unit.
Together,
the real togetherness there, unity. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, which essentially is all we strive to want in life, isn't it? You just want that. Again, what we were saying earlier about that community and about that sense of acceptance and well-being, and that's basically all I really want. Do you know what I mean?
Again, I think COVID's done. We were so busy before COVID on the hamster wheel of modern life. And I think coming out of COVID or during COVID, you realise these very fundamental, important things to humans that maybe the modern world has sort of squished and pulled out of shape a bit. And I'm really, really keen on reminding people of that the empire around us, and it's great, and we live in a wonderful world, don't get me wrong. But actually, sometimes it has pulled us out of shape as humans. I think it does slightly dehumanize us, the world we live in. I think
definitely.
COVID has reminded us, oh, actually, what is success? What do I really want in life? I want to be a good mum. I want to bring my children up well.
That's the thing, yeah. Like, I think people's values have changed now. Their goals in life have changed. And I think it's like making you realise it is those small things in life that matter.
And bring contentment to you and the people around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely an elephant.
Okay, wonderful answer. If you were going to put on a record right now on your record player, CD, digital network, whatever you do, and you press play, what record would come on?
So this is going to sound like really Christian-y cheesy.
Okay.
But
yeah,
so it is a Christian song, but it's a mashup. So it's a mashup between In Christ Alone and Cornerstone.
Oh, all right. I don't know.
It's by Caleb and Kelsey. They're a married couple. Wow. And I listened to a couple of their songs on Spotify.
Caleb and Kelsey. I'm just typing in so we can listen to it. This is Caleb. Oh, look at them. Beautiful people.
They're a beautiful married couple.
Oh, they quite a lot of them, don't they? Oh, this would be interesting.
But they do also do like non-Christian songs. So they do like... Yeah.
In Christ alone, my hope is found. He is my light, my strength.
Oh, yeah.
He is nice. And then they like, it's really sweet. And then they cut into like the Cornerstone, Christ Alone one.
Heights of love, depths of peace.
Oh, that's a really good idea. That's really good.
When striving see,
when we come back to church and you're singing at the song, I'll be the Cornerstone guy.
Yeah, Elgar up there, be fine.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. So what is it about that you like?
So In Christ Alone is my favorite. So I'm going to go to another question. In Christ Alone is my favorite song, my favorite hymn.
Yeah.
I just think it's so beautiful, and I just think it shows like we have these trials, we have these hard times, but you know, in Christ alone we can get through it.
Yeah.
And then obviously at the end it says like, no power of hell, no scheme of man can ever pluck me from his hand.
Yeah.
And yes, I do waver sometimes. I have gone off my little wobbly path, but that rings true. Like my heart, like deep down, my heart to heart is for God. It's for Christ. It's for that. And it's just so powerful. And then instead of going through the whole song, it goes into Cornerstone, weak made strong, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I just think it's about, you know, in Christ we can conquer anything, you know, all things made possible through Christ. But it's also just having that anchor as well.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, it just like, again, I've been really struggling mentally over the last few months, and I'm trying to reconnect with God again, and it was just like that song was just so beautiful. It's about,
it brings those two themes together.
Yeah, so it just summed it all up really beautifully. You know, we trust in God, we have faith in God, but also the fact that He is our anchor.
Yeah.
And you do need that, like, knowing that even though you do waver, and even though sometimes you do fail and mess up,
yeah,
that anchor is still there, and that anchor never moves. Even when we might feel it, like you say, like, you know, when people are going through tough times, church is sometimes the last place they go.
Yeah.
But regardless, that anchor's there. And I just thought it was really powerful.
Yeah, and that's the idea of the cornerstone on the building, isn't it? The foundation stone that holds everything together.
Yeah.
So that's the anchor in the sea as well, is that sense, the cornerstone on a building. Is where
So it's just like,
so the building's solid, but that cornerstone never goes away. Your building can be in whatever state of repair.
Well, that's the thing, it crumbles, and yet the pillars are always standing.
Yeah, that'll never change. Yeah, it's great.
Like with God, God knows that sometimes foundations shake and buildings come tumbling down.
Yeah.
But yet the pillars and the foundation of yet we have tried to build our lives upon, it's always there. And sometimes you do have to rip away and demolish all the stuff that we have put in our lives.
Yeah.
And then you go back to the bare, and then you realize, oh,
yeah,
the bottom hasn't changed. No matter how much we bombard and burden it, it's unchanged. It's undamaging. And I just think, whoa.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's just, it gives you that little boost of, yes, we try not mess up. Yes, we try and lead.
But there's something
like lives.
There's something
very human about it.
In that journey, there's something that is solid and something that is faithful and unchanging in that. Even though the storms come, even though we're on the mountaintop, there's something at the heart of all these experiences that is unchangeable and solid in your life. It's good.
Yeah, I just think I just think it just gives you that hope, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it's great.
And especially with everything that's going on and things hopefully going back to normal, and no one really knows what that normal is going to look like.
Yeah.
It's just that hope that the outside might not look the same.
Yeah.
But that foundation is still there.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that's cool. That's great. Good answer. If you were going to have a cheesy hit song, though, as well.
A cheesy hit song.
Come on,
my goodness.
I can't remember what sort of music you liked through the youth.
I like a bit of rock music, so I've kind of got back into
Go on.
Again, a bit like Bon Jovi, Better Out Living on a Prayer or something like that,
Bon
those
Jovi.
heartfelt.
He's still going strong.
That's just a great song. Or Journey, Don't Stop Believing, those kind of.
All your songs have all got faith connotation.
Probably.
Maybe if you think Jesus freak you.
I don't do cheesy pop songs though.
Great stuff.
Do you know what I mean? I couldn't even tell you what's in the charts right now. Although, Blinding Lights by The Weeknd?
Weeknd, yeah. That's a
great song.
Very good. Yeah. Let's do this one, Johnny. So
we can hear him in a little dance along.
Well, maybe in the as the year opens up again, we'll have a karaoke night at church. So.
Oh yes, with pizza.
With pizza, okay.
Pizza.
I can make that happen for you, no problem. I've got a few little plans to do things a little bit differently going back to church. So, all will be revealed. All will be revealed. Ooh. Not much of a change, really, but yeah. So, keeping on the spiritual film because you're such a holy Joe.
I know I'm doing great today. I'm like, what's going on?
Thanks, man. I'm impressed. Who is your favorite? You're not allowed to say Jesus, but who's your favorite biblical character?
Well, I mean, it would have been Jesus anyway.
Yeah.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
No, I don't. No, fair enough. It doesn't have to be Jesus. I mean, I wouldn't say Jesus if you asked me.
No, I think that's kind of like we try to live our lives like Jesus.
Yeah.
He kind of everything leads to Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. I would, if Jesus was allowed, I wouldn't say Jesus.
No, I still would say my answer. So my answer is Joseph, but the Old Testament Joseph.
Oh, the Old Testament Joseph. Yeah.
The Old Testament Joseph.
Yeah, yeah.
And the reason being is, so you've got this guy who is an absolute dreamer.
Yeah.
He is the favored son. He gets given this beautiful coat. He is living, life. But yet he's faithful to God. He's faithful to all the preachings, all the teachings.
Yeah.
He's he's got this life of privilege at this moment.
Yeah.
But yet he's pure and true to his heart. And then obviously his family turn on him. His brothers turn on him. They sell him into slavery. He gets, then he gets tortured. Then he gets lied about. Then he gets beaten. All this terrible stuff happens to him. And regardless of that, he's still faithful to God.
Yeah.
And I was a bit torn between Joseph and Job. So I guess they're kind of like the same in the sense that, sometimes as humans we question, why God, why me, why does this keep happening? And he doesn't. Joseph is still like trying to do good, and when they do say, can you interpret dreams, can you help us, there's famine, there's and then his family come along and they forgive him, because he does set Benjamin up, and then they look after Benjamin, they take the blame for him, and then they reconcile with Joseph and his dad. And like for me, like on a personal level, like for someone who doesn't have great ties with their family, like blood family, I've got a strong family in Christ, and I've got a strong family in the people that surround me. And I feel like Joseph is like that. Egypt turns to him. He's got all these followers. He's following Christ, but it's not because he's trying to do it because that's what he wants. He's doing it because that's what God wants. And he's true to himself. And eventually things work out with his family. Things go his way. And I just think me personally, I try to be like Joseph in regards to my family, in regards to, when we're going through so much stuff, to try be still so faithful. And actually we're probably more like Peter or David, those kind of people who, when they do things go wrong, we stray from God, we say, why God, it's all your fault, God, we blame God, when actually it's like we try to aspire to be like Joseph.
So it's like even in the testing times, to have integrity.
And I think because it's in the Old Testament and it does come before Christ is like brought to us, he still leads, like he mirrors Jesus. And I just think like this is,
again,
I don't know, I just think it's really like amazing, like just strip it all away. I think it's amazing. This guy he's lost his family, he's lost his dad, he's lost everything, he's literally in this pit, and yet he can see God. He knows it's not God's fault, and he can still be, God is good. And I just think, especially in this time of day at the moment, with everything that's going on, it's very easy to blame God. When actually, like, especially for me, like when I've come out at the end of a terrible time, I can see God has been there. And I just think
it's the cornerstone thing, isn't it?
Like it just see how it all ties in.
But it does absolutely 100%. And also it's the elephant thing. That whatever happens, that sense of, that's what you're drawn to in your elephant, that sense of integrity and just being there. Your cornerstone worship song, and you're in Christ.
I feel that I lose myself. I don't want to grow up trying to be someone that I'm not. And I found that I did try to fit in with my family, and I did try to fit in with my friends. And I felt like I lost myself along the way. And then it's just about that. But in Christ, with God, we don't, we know who we are.
You can just be. You can just be you.
And it's about that belonging. You can just belong. You just be. Just be with us. Be you. Be here. Belong. All those kind of stuff. And I just think, strip away all that glory, all that.
And you do see in a lot of these biblical characters that. So say like Daniel's is a similar character, and Ruth and these people. There's that, and like Mary.
Oh, Ruth,
there's a real deep-seated faith that is like a rock in them, and life and the world revolves around them. But there's something about these people that is so attractive, so that you want to know why they are the people they are. Even
they're just so solid, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, even the ones who aren't so solid, who are a bit wavery, are still cool in the Bible, obviously. But there's something about these people that there's just some real deep down certainty and steadfastness that this is.
Yeah, and it's just so heartwarming, just knowing that they know in their heart who they are, what they believe, and it's like nothing can shake that.
Yeah.
And I just think like, whoa, do you know what I mean? Just wow.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just, I think it's just important for us to remember as well, like looking at those people, that that's true for us as well.
Yeah.
We may not know that, and sometimes we may not even feel it, but that anchor, that cornerstone is inside us.
Yeah.
Whether we acknowledge it or not, whether we are aware of it
or trust
you
it,
know,
surrender.
it's there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, I know, good choice. Really like that one. That's a really good one. Yeah. No,
and he has an awesome coat. So
for me, I always think, I've always said this a lot, is we forget to humanize these people sometimes. I mean, he's just been beaten black and blue by his brothers, nearly to death. And there he is. Yeah. And then he gets sold into slavery. I mean, on a human level.
And then he has like lies about him and he gets chucked into prison and, you know, just, whoa.
You know.
Like if you literally did that nowadays, like,
yeah.
Whoa.
And yet there's this solidity, this core faith that doesn't waver, and is still used by God in a wonderful way.
Yeah, and I think that's just so powerful. Like, you know, even when we're at our worst, God can still use us. We still have a purpose, even though we feel lost and scared and afraid and, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
We still have that purpose. And I just think, you know, like, I don't know, I think it's again comes out to that hope, doesn't it? It just comes down to that hope and gives you that like peace.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Love it. Good answer. That's a cracking answer, that one. I love that. Yeah. So, what, in your opinion, to get to know you a bit better, is the best movie ever made? In your opinion?
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
I was trying to think because
that was terrible of me then, because I was like, Harry Potter. That was a terrible podcast moment. Oh, really, Chloe? Harry Potter? Tell me about that. Why?
What are you on about?
What the hell? No, go on, tell me why.
They're
good, to be fair.
I tried to think, like, because it's based on a book, so the books are phenomenal. For anyone that's not read the books but seen the movies, read the books.
Yeah,
they're amazing. So I tried to think of a movie that was like a movie.
Yeah.
And there are so many movies that I love. Like I love Disney. You know, a bit of rom-com, bit of comedies. You know, Shrek's always good. But for me, Harry Potter was what got me through as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, I was given the Philosopher's Stone's the main one. So the first movie, it was the only thing I owned on video. I watched it 4 or 5 times a day, and it was just about this little boy who, again, a bit like Joseph, was a good, nice guy.
Yeah.
But yet he was abused, he was forgotten, and then he goes and finds himself. And it's about this story of this little boy who has this, you know, Voldemort's after him. He's got this thing that was made before he was even born.
Yeah.
There's this thing about him, this prophecy, you know, and it's about finding himself, and yet he always stays true to himself.
Yeah.
And I just think, and it's got magic in, and it's fun, it's a bit of fantasy, and they're brilliant movies. But for me, like, I tend to like look at movies from like how I can relate to the characters.
Sure.
And I just think Harry's just, you know, he goes and sacrifices himself for his friends.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't know that he's going to come back to life.
Yeah.
You know, so he goes and sacrifices himself. He does everything for the greater good, but yet doesn't lose himself in the process.
Yeah.
And I just think, you know, they're just really, and they're fun, and they're a bit of a laugh, and it's just like
read the books, only because I was like an adult when they came out. So
yeah, but they are good movies and they're good books.
Doing the movie, we've just got through to 4. with Bethany, and you know, a bit mindful of as they get older, they get more adult, but they're not too bad still.
No, I think up to 4 or 5. I think 6, 7.
I think they're still
and like
the way through, aren't they? So, but
I mean, Alec loves them.
yeah,
he gets so excited when Voldemort comes in at Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, he goes crazy. He loves it, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. I'm like, dude, you better be cheering on Harry, not Voldemort.
Yeah. Go on, Voldemort.
It literally is.
What I like about it, watching them, because I bought them the other day because I thought I'm not going to keep renting them because they're going to be watched over the years. So I just put them on Amazon. The first one is very basic, like the special effects. It is very basic. It's okay, but then I really like watching because I like the sort of mechanics as the money comes in. And they're successful.
And like the director changes.
Away, you can see that they're spending more and more money on this production.
Especially towards like the last two, like Half-Blood Prince and Deathly Hallows, they've just gone like all out.
Yeah, they have, yeah.
And it's just like
no, I think they're very good. And I think J.K. Rowling, I think she was very, very involved in the production, wasn't she?
Yeah, so she's down as producer.
Yeah, on the quality control level.
And they are really good, and they don't stray too far from the books. I mean, the later ones are they're not great in regards to the book, but I think they're just they're fun movies.
But again, as the books go bigger and bigger and bigger,
there's only so much you can.
It's so difficult. It must be so difficult to condense that into a 2-hour film. But good choice. Yeah, I like that.
Harry Potter is always my go-to.
A side one, is that also the film that you've watched the most?
Oh yeah, Philosopher's Stone, 4 or 5 times a day.
Is that the first one?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Again, it was just the one night. It's a thing from my childhood. I don't have many nice things about my childhood.
Yeah.
But watching Harry Potter was something that really. Yeah. And it was just really. It was something that I look back fondly on.
That's great.
So it's nice.
That is it. It's your opinion, and it's.
Yeah, did you be like Harry Potter?
I apologize for my Harry Potter. That's hilarious.
Right, what's your favourite movie, Matthew?
Well, it's actually a difficult question because there's so many good ones. If I was going to pick one off the top of the bat, it's so difficult.
It's hard to think, isn't it?
It's very hard to think because I've got so many. I love a few films. I love Constantine with Keanu Reeves, which is about a guy who escapes hell and then can cast out.
Oh, that's on Amazon. Me and George are going to sit down and watch that.
Watch it. It's great. I've always.
When do we know
it? About a Boy with Hugh Grant.
Oh, that's a beautiful movie.
Lovely little film. And
the end scene that gets me on that movie.
A really good little film. That very, very forgotten film, I think. And then the one I've watched the most is probably The Matrix. Is what I've watched the most.
Never seen it.
Good sci-fi. The special effects are a little bit dodgy now, but it was way ahead of the game. And if you watch it now, the themes that they're talking about back then, 1990, whatever it was, I can't remember when it came out. But the themes that they were talking about then are so relevant to today. Like it was way ahead of its time. So yeah, but there's loads.
To watch
the
list.
top ones would be like The Third Man. I love The Third Man. Wizard of Oz. Love The Wizard of Oz.
Classic.
And on and on and on. I could do a movie podcast because it's just, I do love it.
There you go. Now you know what to do next.
But Constantine, I would definitely watch that. And Hellboy 2. I'm a child, really, so that's what. So you go to a posh restaurant, and we can have any top chef in the world making any of the courses. So you could have Gordon Ramsay, Jamie Oliver, you could have anybody, Marco Pierre White, and it's your 3 favorite courses for a film or for food. So what would you have for a starter? What would you have for a main? And what would you have for a dessert?
See, when you asked that question originally, it was like your favourite meal. But now you're like, your posh restaurant. I'm like, yeah, what I'm about to say, you're not going to order from
posh food. It could be a McDonald's on the plate in a posh restaurant.
No, it's so 3 course. I'd have a prawn cocktail starter.
Oh yeah, you win a prize.
Prawn cocktail.
That's my favourite.
Whenever I see prawn cocktail on the menu, I don't care where I am. That is a can. It's just amazing.
It's the best.
So definitely that. And then
you are an absolute legend. Win a prawn cocktail.
And then this is actually my list for when I've given birth, because I can't have any of the stuff I'm about to say.
Oh, okay.
Being pregnant. My next is a steak. It's good old rump steak with chips, mushrooms, peppercorn sauce.
Lovely.
Now, I love steak medium rare. So I don't want it too bloody, but I like it a little bit red, but nice and tender. So a medium rare steak. Oh, I'm getting hungry now. And then for dessert, just a normal chocolate brownie with a bit of ice cream.
Oh, nice.
Just, because you don't want too much.
Solid. It's a solid.
So that would be that, if I was that was your last meal, that would be it.
Yeah, the prawn cocktail, I like all that. I'm not a dessert person. I haven't got a sweet tooth at all, but
I like brownies because I make homemade brownies a lot.
Yeah. In October, was it October? When's Halloween?
October.
That was half term. We went to Cornwall before the lockdown, and we went to a really nice restaurant overlooking the sea, and prawn cocktail.
Oh.
And it was an amazing prawn cocktail. It was those really big. It wasn't a piddly one. Big.
Like a proper. Oh,
it was one of the best starters I've ever had in my life.
I think it's just so good. It's so underrated. A prawn cocktail.
A prawn cocktail. It really reminds me of growing up. For Christmas time, we always had a prawn.
Yeah, you go to a restaurant for so when we were living with Ruth and Brooke.
Yeah.
Every Boxing Day we would go for a meal out, and they'd always have a prawn cocktail on the menu.
Yeah.
And it just reminds me of being with them at Christmas on Boxing Day. Yeah. And I just think it's such a lovely.
Yeah, it is. It is. Oh, it's my number one go-to every time. Do you know on the Pixar Ratatouille?
Oh yes.
You eat that ratatouille, the thin.
Yeah, the pretty person.
Yeah, and he goes, brrr, and he goes all the way back to his child and his mum.
Yeah, that's literally how I feel when I have a prawn cocktail.
That's my prawn cocktail. That's my ratatouille. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, that's a brilliant answer. Yeah, and the steak's always good. I think.
I just feel like you can't do steak at home as good as you do when you go to a pub.
No.
Or a proper steakhouse.
To be cooked for always tastes better than to cook for yourself.
Yeah, every time. And when you're at home, I got to cook for myself, so I can't be bothered with steak.
No, I totally believe that. If you go, you can make nice meals for yourself. You can make nice meals for the family, which I tend to try and do. But if anybody cooks for you, then
it always tastes better.
Always tastes better.
That's why I always come to your house when you're like, do you want food? I'm like, yeah.
Well, soon you can come back and have a prawn cocktail.
Sorted. There were pizza and karaoke.
Yes, it's a post-COVID party already. All right, there. We've got another question. Now, you can be as greedy about this. You don't have to be all nice and Christian about it. Is if you won a lot of money or you inherited a lot of money, so much money you couldn't believe it, what would you do with it?
See, I'm going to be really boring. First off, I would clear my debts.
Okay.
Now, I know that sounds really boring and really sensible, but that is my ultimate thing, is to clear my debts so that I will be able to have a house.
Yes.
I would love to be able to own my own house. Yeah. Mainly, again, for the kids to run around in.
Yeah.
And then I would probably make sure that there's an extra room for a library and probably go buy Waterstones or something and own every book under the sun. And then I think I'd have to I would like to give back because I've had so many things given to me.
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for the generosity of other people.
Yeah, yeah.
So I would like to give back to a charity that would be either struggling or don't get much funds.
Sure.
You know, like, I know it sounds really bad, but like, you know, cancer research get a wide range of things.
Yeah.
You know, I think it would have to be something to do with young people.
Yeah.
And care, and you know, I've always wanted to be able to like run a like professional youth group where it's tailored for young people in the care system or on their own. Sorry, my child's back.
That's all right.
But I'd also probably go to a really ridiculous restaurant in London.
Okay.
And order an insanely amount of prawn cocktail. Do you know what I mean? Like, you would, wouldn't you? You'd have to go and buy a really ridiculous expensive dress and just go spend 10 grand on a 3-course meal, a couple of glasses of champagne, and you know, a bottle of wine, or you know, something like that.
Really live the high life for a night and just get
just for a night. I don't think I could do it for long, because if you spend your money too soon, you've then got to keep up with that lifestyle, and that's when you start gambling, drugs, getting into debt. But I think I probably would, for about a week, live like a queen.
I like it. Oh, good answer. Perfect answer. Well, we'll wrap it up because your family are home now. But
yeah, sorry, Alex turned up.
No, it's all good. We've talked a lot about church, and we've talked about what you love about church. I think that's come through, about how church has impacted you, and the love you have for your faith and the love you have for your church community.
Yeah, like church was always a safety thing for me.
Yeah.
It's safe, it's loved, and it was the first place I ever felt loved.
Yeah, that's great.
By people who didn't know me.
Yeah.
And I think for me, church saves me, and I don't mean that in a Christian sense. Like, Christ saves me.
I know what you mean.
But church saves me. The people in church literally saved my life.
Yeah.
And I will be forever, you know, grateful and blessed for that.
Yeah, awesome. No, we've heard that shine through, so that's great to hear. Yeah, that's amazing. So, final question to let you get back to your family. Obviously, COVID's been difficult. COVID's caused problems, and it's not been easy. But is there something about COVID over the last 10 months, 14 months, 15 months, however long it's going to last, that you just think, I want to hold on to that? That's actually been a positive. That's been something that I want to keep in my life because of COVID.
If it wasn't for COVID, so anyone who knows me knows that I really struggled being a mum to begin with. I'm very open with the fact that I struggled being a mum, especially a single mum.
Yeah.
And actually, COVID gave me the chance to actually bond with my child. Do you know what I mean? I got to stay at home for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And especially at the first lockdown, I was at home for 3 months.
Yeah.
And it was just nice. It was nice to bond with my child, to build those relationships, and it, like, I will forever be grateful for that.
Yeah, a little bit of enforced isolation got you off the hamster wheel of life and just allowed you
I was able to stop,
focus and learn to be who you want to be.
Yeah, I felt like I was so busy with trying to live to expectations, and I was so afraid to lead a life that I didn't want to, you know.
Yeah.
Life was going to plan in a way that I didn't want. Yeah. You know, everything that was happening was something I was like trying to work away from.
Yeah.
And COVID made me realize that actually I don't need to be afraid of it. I need to embrace it.
Yeah, great.
And it was tough. The first couple of months were tough.
Yeah.
But then I was working and I was staying at home and my hours got reduced, and it was just, and I just feel like it benefited Alec as well.
Yeah.
And I will forever be grateful for that. Like, you know, my relationship with my kid is so much better because I was able to take that time out.
Yeah.
To build that relationship.
Yeah. Great.
That was nice.
That's a wonderful answer. And then obviously with kid number 2 coming along in July, then you can take all that learning and wisdom over lockdown that you've learned how to bond and be with Alec.
Yeah, like I'm really excited about this one now. You know, again, this baby was an absolute shock. You know, we were protected. But I'm excited and I'm looking forward to it. And I really feel like, you know, this is obviously meant to be, because we did all the precautions we could, and yet we got this little bubble on the way, and it's just so exciting. And I can't wait. Do you know what I mean? I'm looking forward to trying to breastfeed again. For Alec to have a little sibling, and I just think it's I now realise that this is where my life is meant to be.
Yeah, that's great.
I am leading
the last 10 months, 12 months have allowed you to settle into that person that can benefit that future person who's going to come along.
And I've realised that since being really good with Alec has made me realise that I'm becoming the person that I want to be. Great. Maybe not in the setting that I was expecting.
Yeah.
But I'm who I want to be. I am the person that I wanted to make sure I became.
Great.
Someone different from my family, you know, someone strong, confident, had a plan, had a way forward. And I always thought that church and uni and youth work was going to be the thing that made me, but actually being a mother made me. And it was just that revelation has just been amazing, because it was like I was so adamant to never have kids.
Amazing.
And now I've got 2 little ones, and it's just, do you know what I mean? It's just,
well,
it sounds very cheesy, but
it sounds to me like that little empty square after successful mum is being ticked.
Yeah, and it's nice. It's a nice feeling.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a long way to go, especially with Alec.
Sure.
But
you've got the confidence now, and you've got the
I know that I'm not. You know,
you've got that well that you can draw on. You've got that love there that you definitely there, and you've got all that's going to create that security for that little man, and security for number 2. It's just going to benefit.
And I'm happy. Do you know what I mean? And that's what's nice about it.
Good.
It's like, and it sounds really corny, but COVID has made me realise that actually
you're all right.
I'm happy with the life I've got. Good. I like I love my life. It's going really well. And yes, there are some things that, you know, everyone likes to change and stuff. Sure. But it's made me realise that I'm very blessed with my little family.
Well, on that bombshell, I think that's a really amazing place to finish.
And absolutely. My child is home.
You know, I've been the pastor of the church for 10 years now, so I've seen you grow through some very difficult times and some tough times. And it's a privilege to know you, and it's a privilege to call you a friend. And
Thank you.
You're 24, you're getting old now, so.
It says the Mr. 50-year-old over there.
But honestly, you know, you're very close to us as a family, and you're very dear to my heart. And it's so nice to hear what you've just said. It's great. So, yeah. Thank you, Chloe, for being with us. Thank you for being on the podcast.
No worries, anytime.
And thank you very much, and see you soon.
Bye.